when the heat is on. Some feel the heat and decide that they can't go on. Some like it hot, but you can't tell how hot till you try. Some like it hot, so let's turn up the heat till we fry. Some like it hot, some like it hot. Some like it hot, some like it hot.
From this glorious city on Puget Sound in the Pacific Northwest, the city of Seattle. This afternoon, we fit the final piece into the puzzle of the 1987 Final Four as the Iowa Hawkeyes from the Big Ten take on the UNLV Running Rebels. The winner of this game will advance to meet Indiana in New Orleans in the semifinal game next week. They will join Syracuse, Providence, and Indiana in the Final Four. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Seattle. I'm Vern Lundquist. We think we have a matchup that promises to be every bit as exhilarating and exciting as that LSU-Indiana game you just witnessed. In UNLV, we have a team ranked #1 for most of the year, and in the Iowa Hawkeyes, a team that was ranked #1 when the Running Rebels weren't. I'm working with Billy Cunningham again today, and Bill, we've all heard about the pressure defense of Iowa. We've heard a tremendous amount about the offense of UNLV. What about their defensive team?
Well, UNLV's defense is just tenacious. And when you talk to Jerry Tarkanian about his defense, you get that big smile and that pride factor. And you know one thing, he wants to use 94 feet of this basketball court with his defense. He has all 5 players playing that tenacious defense, and they have caused their opponents over 19 turnovers per game this year.
Matter of fact, Dr. Tom Davis, the Iowa coach, said this is as quick a defensive unit, talking about UNLV, as he has ever seen in college basketball. Now, Iowa comes in averaging a lot of points per game, up in the 80s. They looked a little sluggish in their semifinal win here over Wyoming.
Yeah, Vern, they did. They just weren't as sharp as they have been. And I think there's 2 key people that have to do the job for this ball club today. I think it's Roy Marple. He did not play well offensively against Oklahoma, and they're going to need him today. And they're going to need the leadership from Brad Lohaus.
So it's Iowa against UNLV, and the winner goes to New Orleans. They have a long way to travel from Seattle down to the Gulf Coast.
CBS Sports presents the NCAA Basketball Championship. Today's regional final game from Seattle is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. GMAC, the official sponsor of America's dreams. And by McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
We're making breakfast by the hand. You can take it by the hand. Snap to it. Start your day. You can shake it, you can roll it, you can shoot it, you can scold it when it's made McDonald's way. Big muffins hot and fresh. Biscuits at their best. Five delicious kinds. It's a sign of the times. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Breakfast by the hand. By the hand. Victory!
Too bad, Bob.
Party at my place.
Hey, I'll buy the food. You? Where this late? One of those 76 self-serve marts. They're bigger than ever.
Do they have hot dogs there, Mark?
Tacos,
Pizza, chips and dips?
everything from gas to groceries.
Hey, pizza.
Soda.
Nachos.
Baby food, Junior?
No thanks.
No money. No problem. Your 76 credit card.
Go with the spirit.
Hey, Bob, what you buying? Aspirin?
The spirit of 76.
Discover a new species, Chevrolet Beretta.
The heartbeat of America.
Beretta.
That's today's
came in with a 30-4 season record. They defeated Santa Clara, UTEP, and Oklahoma to get to this spot. And the Running Rebels are 36-1. They defeated Idaho State, Kansas State, and Wyoming. Now let's go to our public address announcer, Rod Belcher, to meet the starting lineups.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kingdome for this afternoon's West Regional Final between the University of Iowa Hawkeyes and the Running Rebels of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Now, let's meet the starting lineups. For Iowa at forward, a 7-foot senior from Glendale, Arizona, number 54, Brad Lohaus. For UNLV at forward, a 6'7" junior from Rayne, Louisiana, number 23, Gerald Patio. For Iowa at forward, a 6'5" sophomore from Flint, Michigan, number 23, Roy Marble. For UNLV at forward, a 6'9" senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 35, Armin Gilliam. For Iowa at center, a 6'7" senior from San Bernardino, California, number 3, Gary Wright. For UNLV at center, a 6'8" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 44, Jarvis Bassnight. For Iowa at guard, a 6'2" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 10, B.J. Armstrong. For UNLV at guard, a 6-foot senior from San Pedro, California, number 10, Mark Wade. For Iowa at guard, a 6'5" senior from Springfield, Illinois, number 35, Kevin Gamble. And for UNLV at guard, a 6'2" senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 13, Freddie Banks. And introducing the head coaches for Iowa in his first season, Dr. Tom Davis. For UNLV in his 14th season, Jerry Tarkanian.
Last to the quartet, about to be determined, the Final Four, which will head from New Orleans in a week. We'll be back in Seattle in just a moment.
The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Smoothest Chevrolet sedan ever built.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
When you want the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer, ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the green label.
Green?
Just kidding, guys. Ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the black label.
That's not funny.
Someone dented the door of my 4x4. Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate makes an accident a little easier to take by offering a repair guarantee.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Crowd of better than 25,000 expected here in the Kingdome in Seattle this afternoon. The officiating crew, Joey Sylvester of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The referee, Don Rutledge of Windermere, Florida, and Louis Grillo of Washington, D.C. The umpires and the official, or the alternate rather, Willis McJunkin of Spokane. The only time the two teams met was back in '78. It was an 85-84 game. UNLV goes right to left, and the Iowa Hawkeyes in the opposite direction. Joey Sylvester getting ready to tip it up. The winner of this one plays Indiana next Saturday in New Orleans, as the Hoosiers came from behind and nipped LSU by 1. Running Rebels ball. Freddie Banks quickly takes the jumper. Too long. Rebound. Banks gets it. And Mark Wade, who set a single-season NCAA record with assists, he now has 376. And the rebound on the line. Banks, and it'll be Iowa's ball. And quickly, that pressure defense of UNLV, Bill.
That's right. We see Mark Wade right away picking up B.J. Armstrong. There's a screen. Got to talk on those screens.
Gary Wright hit the screen. This is Lohaus, a 7-footer, who likes to play on occasion from the perimeter. He's guarded by Baz Knight. They get Baz Knight out away from the basket.
Well, when you play against this type of pressure, you have to have good patience and look for backdoor situations.
Nice pass by Marble underneath, and Gary Wright gets the first basket of the game.
Now we see the trap. No, it's just showing the trap at this point.
Mark Wade, baseball pass. The first turnover of the game. Gary Wright returns the honor. Looks like Johnny Bench throwing to second. Armstrong lays it off to Marble. Off the glass short. Lohaus with the follow.
Well, Tom Davis was very concerned about his team coming out and being a little nervous in this basketball game, but we don't see that right off the bat.
We have mentioned the two men you mentioned at the outset, Lohaus and Marble. And they've got the first two baskets as Iowa takes a 4-0 edge. Wade, left side. Freddie Banks for three. Got it. Not because of a personality conflict, he just didn't adapt to Raveling style, and then he has blossomed his senior season.
That's one way you beat this zone trap. Boy, they got it in and up the court as quickly as anyone can get it up. You know, I bet you Coach Tarkanian in that locker room told his players to go at this very positively, and I would think he'd tell them is, hey, they're just playing right into our hands. If we just get it over the top, we're going to be out in our running game, just as we saw it here.
You see any early signs of nerves yet, Bill?
No, not yet.
Traveling call.
Now watch how quickly UNLV gets that ball inbounds. Both Baz Knight gets it in. Bang, bang. Great passing.
Now Gamble gets back as Mark Wade brings it across the timeline. 6-5 Iowa, 17:40 to go first half. Follow shot, Jarvis Baz Knight.
Well, you have to be concerned about Baz Knight getting to the offensive boards and out in transition. Right off the bat, though, we see they're not playing Mark Wade, who does not look for his shots.
Wright with a nice pass underneath, and a good, strong move by Lohaus. 8-7, the inbounds pass again. Baz Knight will bring it in, and we'll watch that in this pressure defense supplied by Iowa because it might be a factor. He sometimes has problems. Underneath the lob pass, Gilliam misfires, and Kevin Gamble's on the run now. Hawkeyes bring it up. B.J. Armstrong, that's for two.
Well, after that shot he hit in the last ball game against Wyoming, he's got to feel awfully confident. Excuse me, Oklahoma.
There's the steal by Iowa. Gamble gets it. Two more. And it's a 12-7 Iowa lead. Understand we're having some audio problems. We're working on that. Hope to get them corrected shortly. 16:33 to go in the first half. A 12-7 Iowa lead. Reach-in foul. Gamble gets caught.
Hawkeye foul charge to 35.
Now, Gamble's been the big playmaker of this ball club all year. We see this steal and pulling up for that little jump shot.
It was Gamble, the hero of the win over Oklahoma, as we said, with that three-pointer, 2 seconds left in overtime. From three, Patio doesn't get it. Foul underneath. Sends Tarkanian into agony.
Well, Gerald Patio has really been struggling from the field. In the last ball game, he was 2 for 9 and 1 for 7 from that three-point area. And Coach Tarkanian is very concerned. And if he doesn't hit a shot or two, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gary Graham get in this ball game.
Armstrong guarded by Mark Wade.
Armstrong's doing an excellent job so far against that pressure, getting his team into their set offense.
Baz Knight goes for the steal. Lowhouse controls for Iowa, and Wright takes the jumper, gets it. 14-7.
Well, that's something Wright's not known for. You expect him to be looking, driving to the hoop, and getting to the offensive boards.
Hawkeyes are 6 of 8 from the field.
Well, we see Gamble is just backing off into the lane area, ready to give the help inside on Gilliam.
There's the lob to Gilliam. He gets the second effort to put back.
UNLV field goal by 35. Armand Gilliam.
Brad Lowhouse is an injury timeout. We'll look at Iowa underneath.
Now, here's that pass inside. You see Kevin Gamble looking to come back and help it. Not quick enough.
2 changes for Iowa. Entering.
Ed Horton comes into the lineup now. Lowhouse had his eye scratched when he was elbowed by a teammate on Wednesday and had 10 stitches in his right eye. I don't know if that's the problem or if it's the left eye this time. But Ed Horton has taken his spot.
Well, that'll be a big loss for this ball club if he's not able to get back into the game.
Al Lorenzen also in for the Hawkeyes. B.J. Armstrong gets 2 more. Ford 16-9.
Now, that's a great strength of Armstrong, being able to push the ball the length of the court.
Freddie Banks, too strong. Big rebound. Roy Marble, the sophomore, out of Flint, Michigan. Hawkeyes are 7 of 9 from the field, Bill.
Well, so far they've been able to get into their set offense very easily. Their trapping defense has been effective for them. They're playing their kind of game.
They caught Marble throwing an elbow. That's
okay. Now what we've seen now, the only negative thing is Roy Marble is trying to force things now offensively twice. Last time he committed a turnover, and now he's called for a charging foul.
Another substitution now. Fiery Jeff Moe is into the lineup, and Gamble is out, and number 11 Michael Reeves comes in. Very comparable to John Thompson at Georgetown, Dean Smith at North Carolina, how Dr. Tom Davis uses his bench.
Oh yeah,
all through the game.
He wants to wear you out. Now we see where Jeff Moe is playing defensively.
Patio misses his first 2 3-pointers. Wade comes over, controls for UNLV. That's not what Tarkanian wanted. He was hoping for a quick start from Patio. That's 0 for 3 for Patio. 0 for 4. And that's got to concern Tarkanian.
You've got to concern him, and Patio is just struggling so much it almost becomes a mental block with you. You try to force things. You don't finish your shot. And once a player starts thinking, it's disaster.
Michael Reeves on a great feed, and Iowa has doubled the score. In the backcourt, Al Lorenzen draws the foul.
Well, this Iowa team, which was very sluggish, I thought, in their last game against Oklahoma, at the offensive end of the court, are moving the basketball. What a great pass.
Timeout. 14:26 to go first half. Hawkeyes with a big start.
It doesn't matter where.
I looked up and there was no more ceiling, no more roof.
It doesn't matter when.
We didn't know where to turn.
The All-State Catastrophe Team stands ready. A team of experts around the country ready to converge on any disaster.
My All-State adjuster was here on the spot.
Our adjuster would say, I'll take care of it. And he did.
A lot of the neighbors I talked to haven't even heard from their insurance companies yet. And All-State was right here to help.
The All-State adjuster showed me that he had the experience and the know-how and compassion for a person that really needs it.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
You are in good hands.
You're in good hands.
You're in good hands.
With All-State.
That's for sure.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
When you want the rich, smooth, fresh taste of real draft beer in a can, ask for Miller Genuine Draft. The Miller with the black label. It's beer at its best.
Discover a new species. Chevrolet Beretta.
The heartbeat of America.
Beretta.
That's today's Chevrolet.
It's a competition between the PGA's best on a course that demands their best. Join me for the Tournament Players Championship next weekend on CBS Sports.
If you think Tom Davis is concerned about Armand Gilliam, you see right here in the picture, he'll end up with 4 players surrounding him on the inside of that play. What they're doing defensively is they're saying, well, Wade, Patio, prove it to us. Can you hit that outside shot? And so far, they have not been able to do that.
Look at Mo and Marble back. Now we're back to live action, and the rebounding edge is huge for Iowa so far, 13-6.
I would think that Coach Tarkanian might end up putting Mark Wade on a different location on the court and not at the top of the key. He is now on the wing, so they might be able to get into something offensively.
There's Wade. Gets it, and that's a three-pointer.
That's a big shot. Well, one of the reasons you don't play Mark Wade with much pressure is last year, the whole season as a starting guard, he only shot the ball 67 times.
That's in 38 games. The other night he was 1 for 2, and it's important for him to get off to a start because they'll give him that shot all day.
You know, not many coaches, when you get to a timeout, have to tell a player you got to shoot the basketball.
5-second violation. Lorenzen and Wade. And that's a turnover. Third Iowa turnover of the first half. 13:45 to go before halftime. Foul. Jeff Lowe.
Now, watch this switch on the baseline defensively. They switch, and how do you switch? You have to communicate, talk to each other, and make sure that if you don't talk on the defensive end on that court, you end up with 2 players, in most cases, playing 1 player and someone wide open for a shot.
Mark Wade at the free throw line into the corner for Freddie Banks for 3. That's short. Banks gets his own rebound. Up, no foul, no call. Gilliam gets the basket.
No, I don't think they're going to allow the basket, Vern. But I don't know if it looked like he was getting fouled while he was in the motion going to the basket. Let's take a look. Now he sees a drive by Banks to the hole. Ooh, that hurt. And now Gilliam just comes in. The hammer takes it and powers it up to the basket. He did get fouled, though. Mo got him before he left the floor.
That's the 5th Iowa team foul.
And 2 fouls on Jeff Mo.
And getting close to the bonus. Now the inbound pressure applied. And Ed Horton almost took it away from Gilliam.
The hammer just took it away from him.
18-16. Rebels on a run. They've scored 7 unanswered points. Now Armstrong joined by Lorenzen. B.J. Armstrong back in.
Both teams are streak ball clubs. We saw in the last game when Iowa played Oklahoma, they had a string of 19 unanswered basketball points. And then we saw in UNLV had that time a type of streak against Wyoming in the second half.
Oh, excellent pass from Lorenzen. And a shooting foul.
Now, I want to ask you a question, Vern, on this play.
All right.
How would you like to arm wrestle this gentleman right here? Arm in the hammer. Boom!
Motto there is stay away from Petaluma. Gilliam got the foul, and Kevin Gamble will be at the line. Gamble, a senior from Springfield, Illinois.
You know, when a team traps and a team has no success against it, it's the snowball effect. You start thinking, you become tentative when you're looking to attack it. You're afraid to make a mistake. And when that happens, a team like Iowa really can get you. But it also is the same thing when it's with a team like UNLV because of their great man-to-man defensive pressure.
No problem with the pressure defense this time as Wade gets him across.
Well, the theory of Tom Davis with his trap is 1 pass and done. When you make, after that first pass is made by the team attacking the trap, they'll just back off, go to their 1-2-2 zone trap, zone, or they'll go to their man-to-man.
Gilliam with the turnaround. He's got 6 points. Gary Graham has also come in now for UNLV. He's in the backcourt following B.J. Armstrong. And Armstrong pushes it up the floor. Watch the pressure on the guards here.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Basnight is the center, and he's up there putting that type of pressure on.
Timeout has been called by Jerry Tarkanian's Running Rebels. They trail by 2.
When the temperature drops below 30, remember the spark plug that's tested to start below 0. Champion, we go to ridiculous extremes to test the reliability of our spark plugs.
I own a PC and a VCR, a condo on the beach, and my own company. But I don't own a car. I lease with GMAC. For me, leasing was smarter than buying. It's just good money management. And since I worked out the terms with my GM dealer, I can pay less each month. It was easy. Now I've got the new car I want, and leasing frees up my money for other things.
GMAC Leasing, only at your GM dealer. For you, it just might be smarter than buying.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
Take a look at what UNLV has accomplished in postseason play. The margin of difference, 35, 34, a couple of 25s, 19 and 14. They haven't been tested. As a matter of fact, the last time they won by less than 10 was on February 7th of this year when they defeated San Jose State 83-74. Now, while we were away, there was this discussion that took place at the scoring table. There was a UNLV basket which was inadvertently given. So here is the correct score, not 20-18, but 20-16. I knew we'd have a lot of points, but somebody tossed in a couple of extra on us. So the correct score now, and it was that discussion which righted it during the timeout. It's 20-16, Iowa leads.
But we see a little trapping defense right here by the Rebels going to a half-court trap.
Back it goes to Kevin Gamble. Iowa has Gamble, Armstrong, Lohaus, Wright, and Marble on the floor. Marble has not scored yet.
Well, it's good to see there was nothing serious with Brad Lohaus.
Got his eye check, got him back in, turnover. That's the 4th Iowa turnover.
That's a great move by Jerry Tarkanian. He comes out of a timeout, and they're preparing, Tom Davis is preparing his team for a man-to-man, and they go to that trap.
Saw an example of the outstanding rebounding strength of Iowa with that Roy Marble grab, and underneath, Marble the recipient of a heck of a blow and a foul called. That's Eldridge Hudson, who is in the game now, arguing the call, but there'll be no argument.
All he did was grab him and try to throw him to the floor. Now watch this. He's just grabbing Marble, trying to throw him to the floor. No foul.
Not at all. Reverse layup. Roy Marble.
What a play. It didn't appear that he even had any vision of the basket when he went up for that shot.
Just a sophomore out of Flint, Michigan. Marble has been averaging 15 points per game this year.
Over the rim.
I thought it was. Tarkanian thought it was, and Lohaus gets credit for the basket.
That was over the cylinder, Vern.
The tip, Basnight controls for UNLV. Mark Wade. Now Iowa's going to a zone. And the three-point basket again, this time from Gary Graham, number 32. This is a UNLV team which for the year, coming into today's game, had shot three-pointers 716 times. 716. Right. Rebound, Marble. Give you a little perspective. The Notre Dame team that Bill and I saw last week had 100 efforts for the season.
Well, we see they're hurting so far the Rebels on the offensive boards. Cannot allow that to happen in a game like this.
Not a good rebounding UNLV team. Maybe their biggest weakness.
That was a strong move to the middle by Gamble.
26-19, 10-25. Winner of this game meets Indiana next Saturday on CBS in the Final Four. And Providence plays Syracuse and the other two members of the quartet. There's another three-pointer. Armin Gilliam. He's got 8. He had 38 and 13 rebounds in the win over Wyoming Friday night. Gamble. Foul on Graham.
Good call. Graham ends up pushing off inside. Now watch this strong move to the basket. No help for Gilliam on that power move. Now watch Lowhouse. This is something this team practices. Going baseline, and he beats his man to the baseline and is able to tip in that missed shot.
Roy Marble goes to the line. Largest lead of the game has been 9 by Iowa at 18-9.
So far, the running Rebels have not been reacting or responding to each other as well as Jerry Tarkanian would like to see them defensively. They're not in sync. We saw in that replay when Gamble took it strong to the basket, someone has got to come back and give that defensive help. They're not reacting well at this point.
Last foul was on Gary Wright, his first. 16 fouls on Iowa, 7 on UNLV, so we'll shoot bonus free throws from now on through the half.
David Willard's in there in the middle.
3 points. Scramble, and Wade comes up for it. David Willard, number 40 for UNLV.
It appears UNLV's approach to this game is you shoot the ball, and Armin, you go get it.
He just did.
He has that ability. He's so big and wide. When he gets in there, he makes that space for himself.
Gilliam, excuse me, Bill.
But he gets to the offensive boards before the shot is taken.
How about the bounce pass from Gary Wright? How about the bounce pass?
Well, the bounce pass, but I would be very upset if I'm Jerry Tarkanian. Number one, he wants to look to overplay defensively, and we'll see that. There was an overplay. He just lost his man. Lack of communication there with David Willard. And he goes for the basket, but you see no one reacted to each other defensively there. And for Jerry Tarkanian's team to be effective in the half-court basis with their man-to-man defense, they have to respond to each other.
Rebound, David Willard. UNLV with a chance to cut the lead to 3 or 2. Freddie Banks. Banks has 5. Moe controls it. Nice drive pass to Gary Wright. Didn't get it to fall. Willard.
Gary Wright has a bad habit, taking that ball with one hand. When you're in the position he was on the baseline, right near the basket, you want to take it with 2 hands and power it to the basket. Looking to draw the foul, number one, but a chance to get that three-point play. When you go up with the one hand, your chances are very slim.
And Wright doesn't want to be at the free throw line. He's hitting only 50% for the year. Gilliam with 10. Lowhouse has 8 so far. 28-25, 8:59 to go first half. 1 of 2. That's his season average. Now Lowhouse guarding Willard, who's inbounding the ball. He gets it over the top. And Wade forces the ball in the corner. Graham, good. That's 2.
I'll tell you, Coach Tarkanian talked about how he hadn't seen a trap in several years. Well, they saw one last year against Stanford when Tom Davis was coaching Stanford and they had problems. But when you hit a couple of shots like that, that really gets the adrenaline flowing. The players can't wait to see a trap.
Michael Reeves takes it to the free throw line. Blocking foul. Oh, no. They're going to say offensive foul.
Now that's the way Jerry Tarkanian wants his team to play defensively. One man was beaten defensively, but there was someone coming over to give that help and drawing the charge.
Dr. Tom Davis didn't like the call. And now UNLV with a chance to lead for the first time or tie it up. Wade passes on the shot in the corner. Good. Three-pointer.
Well, Gary Graham better get a piece of chalk and make an X over there because he's hit 2 from the same spot.
30-29, UNLV back on top. Having overcome a 9-point deficit. Marble hit by Wade, knocked out of bounds. UNLV ball.
Well, we see that first three-pointer by Gary Graham has ignited this team not only offensively but defensively. Stepped on the line. Jeff Moe stepped on the line after making the steal.
Number 35, Gamble, replacing Marble.
Already in this game, UNLV has equaled the number of three-pointers they had Friday night. They've made 4.
Now watch what they're looking to do. They like to get the ball into Gilliam, and then he's looking to swing it directly without putting it on the floor right to Mark Wade. Now, what happened was David Willard, after a violation, cannot take a step. He has to, just like on the court, in play, you have a pivot foot. You can fake and do something. You cannot move both feet.
That's the third UNLV turnover. 29-30, and another foul. This one on David Willard, number 40.
Well, he's coming out right now.
Basnight will come back in. Jarvis Basnight.
You know, the problem with a game like this, coaching, is you can't wait. Too many mistakes. You got to get somebody in there because today is the biggest game for these teams. You know, whoever wins this game, they've had a phenomenal year. Both teams will have a great year just getting to the final 16. But this is it, to get that chance to go to New Orleans.
Well, one doesn't want to put a monetary tag on it either, but it's worth $1 million to the athletic program of the school. Ooh. And in these economic hard times, that is beneficial, I'll promise you. Lohaus has tied it up.
You know, Jerry Tarkanian told the press yesterday, he said, they asked him if he was going to New Orleans. He said, yeah, I'm going to New Orleans, but I just hope the team comes with me.
Freddie Banks underneath with Gary Wright, and Wright picks up the foul. That's his second. Despite all the fouls, we have no one with 3 so far.
Number 3, Gary Wright.
Baker's doesn't have 2. We're live at the Kingdome in Seattle, where just about what we expected has taken place. Run and gun offense. 31-30 the score right now.
So far, this game has been like a prize fight. You know, one team hits the other one, goes for a little spurt, bang, here comes the other team coming out in the second round and doing the same thing. No team has been able to get a hold and control the tempo of this game.
Freddie Banks back at the line to shoot the second free throw of the game for UNLV. They are not a bad free throw shooting team, 71% overall. And he gets 1 out of 2. Tied once again just under the 8-minute mark. Vern Lundquist, Bill Cunningham here from the Kingdome in Seattle. Michael Reeves across the timeline. All the way in, up and over. Oh, he had to really time that shot as Gilliam was there, and now Reeves gets the turnover. Gamble over Basnight and his foul.
Just a strong move inside by Gamble. Kevin Gamble going strong to the middle for that shot. Now, the big difference is we have seen Iowa make an adjustment defensively, and that is we see them denying the ball inside to Armin Gilliam, and they're trying to throw it over the top, and they're picking up the steals. Now watch Reeves penetrate all the way to the basket. Nice move.
Kevin Gamble at the line trying to make it a 3-point play and a 5-point Iowa lead, which he's done. 7:41 to go first half, 36-31. Well, this is a Rebel team that's averaged 93 points per game and an Iowa team that's averaged 87, so our chances of seeing 200 are excellent. Underneath, turnover again. That's the 5th UNLV turnover. Bounce pass. What a dandy. Offensive foul. Did the basket count? No. How's that for taking a charge for Freddie Banks?
You got to be a man in there. This is the type of game you have to do anything necessary to help your team win. You know, that is such a difficult call for an official. You know, we were sitting right here, Vern, and had a great angle. I couldn't tell if the ball was released before the contact or after.
Mark Wade, Freddie Banks along the baseline. He sneaks his way in. Marble is fouled as he gets the rebound by Jarvis Basnight. That's the first player with 3 fouls. And Tark wants to talk to Mark Wade.
Nevada, Las Vegas.
you mentioned about we very easily could see a high-scoring game. UNLV this year has scored over 100 points 12 times, and Iowa has done the same thing 6 times this year.
Baz Knight out. Eldridge Hudson, number 33. He of the knee problems for UNLV is in the lineup. Had such a promising, or was such a promising player when he came to UNLV. High school legend in Southern California, but has had knee problems throughout. Free throw, no good. You know he's not going to waste time with that. Shot is up by Freddie Banks. No, Gary Graham, and here comes Iowa. Reeves back to Lowhouse for 3. Wade, it's a 2-on-3. Oh, if you've got respiratory problems and can't breathe, this is not the place to be.
Oh, boy.
Graham, that's for 2. Marble for Iowa, 36-31, 6:38 to go in the first half.
Now, you would have to think this is favoring Iowa, this up-and-down pace this quick, because they do use 10 players. They had 10 players averaging in double figures minutes played this year.
Reach-in foul, Mark Wade.
You know, Mark Wade looking for the steal, but you got to play defense with your feet. You know, there's Lowhouse, 7 foot, out on the court. Mark Wade, what, 6 feet tall? At least he's listed at 6 feet tall. Reaching in, picking up a cheap foul. He's got to be aware of the situation. That is that they're in a penalty situation. Don't give up something easy.
That's too strong. And the rebound brought down by Hudson of the Running Rebels, 36-31. Hasn't been a good free throw shooting first half for Iowa. Underneath, Armstrong dives for it. It went off Freddie Banks. It'll be Iowa's fault.
Right now, the Running Rebels are forcing things that are not there offensively, and this Iowa team is reacting so well to the ball.
Al Lorenzen, number 44, back into the lineup for the Hawkeyes. And Gerald Patio comes back in for UNLV. B.J. Armstrong, guarded by Mark Wade. And Aaron Wright.
Perfectly executed.
I thought for a moment that's the worst shot I'd ever seen.
Now, on the weak side, they set that back screen. Hudson did not help, and there was the easy dunk.
UNLV is now 5 of 11 from three-point range. Whistle, another foul. Watch the alley-oop again.
Now, the alley-oop, Hudson's man sets the screen, no help, and there's the lob. Perfect play. There's an athlete there, too, to go up and get the basketball the way Marble did. Those are some of the things you look to do against a team that applies a lot of pressure. You have to look for the back doors, the lobs, things of that like that. What that eventually will do, if you have success, it loosens up the defense, and now you're able to run the things you'd like to run at the offensive end of the court.
Armstrong at the line gets the first of the 1-and-1. Brad Lowhouse getting a rest again as Dr. Tom Davis has pulled him and put Lorenzen in the game. Armstrong now 1 out of 2. Given name is Benjamin. And we've equaled the largest lead in the first half. It's 40-31, 5:40 to go in the half. Mark Wade gives it off to Freddie Banks and the Las Vegas senior. Too strong, air ball.
Too strong and a bad shot, too.
Armstrong.
There's one thing taking a good, quick shot. It's another thing when you take a quick, bad shot.
That's the coaching you coming out.
Well, you know, it's something. Jerry Tarkanian loves this fast pace, but he also let them know that that was a bad shot.
For 3, Freddie Banks. Over the top, Hudson gets the foul for UNLV. That's his 3rd in the first half. So Baz Knight and Hudson both with 3, and there's the towel. It finally came out. We're going to give you a look at halftime at the ritual which surrounds the towel. And a man who plays an important role for UNLV, who hasn't gotten a lot of publicity, named Paul Biafor. That's coming up.
Paul Biafor.
You'll hear about it. 40-31, 5:09 to go.
Give me a hint.
He played about as much basketball as I did.
Ooh. Did he get cut in the 10th grade,
That's
too?
the same deal. That's the thing Michael Jordan and I have in common, you know.
And that's it.
That's exactly. Iowa's on an 11-0 run. Mark Wade. Patio gets his first basket of the day. 42-33 after the 5-minute mark. Chris Moe for three. Moe is averaging 11.5 points off the bench. Gets his first three of the day. Freddie banks for three. Well, why not? Try the triple again. And Iowa gets the bounce. UNLV has already attempted 13 three-point shots. They've hit 5. Timeout.
The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Corsica and feel the winds of change.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Billy D. Williams talks about Colt 45.
There are 2 rules to remember if you want to have a good time. Rule number 1, never run out of Colt 45. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. You want to know why you should keep plenty of Colt 45 on hand? You never know when friends might show up. I don't claim you can have a better time with Colt 45 than without it. But why take chances?
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
Light fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Hey, Gal.
What?
The elevator's here.
Find your future in the Army.
Tonight on CBS, Cheryl Ladd. Saving others, destroying herself. Deadly Care, based on a true story.
Chip Nance back in New York saying we'll see you back here at halftime with a recap of Indiana's 1-point win over LSU in the Midwest final. Plus, we'll take you to Las Vegas for a revealing look at a school that we actually know very little about. Right now, let's go back to Seattle. Vernon Billy.
All right, Jim, we've got 4:36 to go in the first half. We expected a high-scoring game. We have not been disappointed. 45-33. And the tempo, to say the least, has been quick.
This is the quickest game I think I've ever seen in my life.
What that means is every time they've had the ball, 31 times for Iowa, they've shot it before 15 seconds elapsed, and 38 times for UNLV. Now, you're saying quickest game ever?
I can't imagine a game being any quicker. You know, it does take 4 seconds to get from one end of the court to the other.
For some of you.
Uh-oh, they're freezing the ball. The clock's down to 25 seconds.
I knew you were going to mention the clock before the day was out at least once. Bounce pass underneath the Dr. Tom Davis specialty. That one bounce pass in the entry level. And Ed Horton gets the basket. 47-33, a 14-point UNLV lead. Deficits don't bother the running Rebels side. Iowa lead, I'm sorry. Rebels were down by 22 earlier in the year against Western Kentucky and came back to win the NIT preseason tournament.
They were down 19 to New Mexico State and were able to come back at halftime. But there's one other stat. You have to remember, Iowa is undefeated, leading at halftime.
Lorenzen tries for the rebound. Marble gets it for Iowa. 47-33. B.J. Armstrong lays it off for Wright. Whoa, how unselfish.
Just a beautiful play by B.J. Armstrong. He knew where that man was all the time, and when he went up, left the floor, he knew what he was going to do with the ball. Another steal.
Moe in the corner. Horton score.
Now you see it, now you don't.
Watch the basket prior to that one in the pass from B.J. Armstrong.
Look at Holton on your right, getting out on the break. B.J. Armstrong knew where he was all the time, and a nice play.
Horton got the basket. UNLV has called timeout. They've got 2 left. And they trail 51-33. Turnovers now. Iowa 8, UNLV 6.
But Iowa's converted 14 points out of those 8 turnovers. That's the big stat. Now the thing is, Jerry Tarkanian did not want to call a timeout now with 3 minutes to play, but he was forced to. He's got to regroup his team. Make sure that they don't lose their confidence at this point, because when you're down 18 points with 3 minutes to play, you've got to stop the bleeding at some point. They would like to go, Coach Tarkanian, get his team in there, 15 and under. He surely has the confidence that his ball club can come back and win.
Already in the game, UNLV 4 of 15. They've put it up 15 times. They will not stop. Look at the graphic from Friday night when they put up 23 three-pointers and hit only 4. And I guess it's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. That has been their reason for success all year, and they probably won't come out of that, Bill.
Oh, they won't change their style, but he's just got to make sure that they handle the basketball a little better as a team. They're throwing the ball around like it's a hot potato from one side of the court to the other, trying to force things that aren't there. Now, the thing is, they've shot 41% from the three-point area all season long, so they won't change in that regard, but they just have to get a little more under control with the basketball.
Dr. Tom Davis of Iowa is in his first year, having replaced George Raveling. Raveling, of course, went to USC, and Dr. Tom came from Stanford. He is trying to become only the second coach that we know of to lead a team to the Final Four in his first year at a school. Larry Brown did it his first year at UCLA in 1980, and Ed Jucker did it in Cincinnati in 1961. They went all the way and won it all. So that is what Dr. Tom Davis is trying to accomplish this afternoon.
Well, Ed Horton almost missed the floor on that foul shot.
3:09 to go first half. Let's check the lineups. Jeff Lowe is in there, number 20, with Marble, Lowhouse, Michael Reeves, and Horton for Iowa. Freddie Banks, short. That's the 16th three-pointer. Armin Gilliam, and he gets 2 and calms things down.
You know, at some point they have to look a little more inside to Armin Gilliam, because the only way he's getting the basketball at the offensive end of the court is on the offensive glass.
And Horton, 2 more. Horton's a man who started the first 24 games of the year, then gave way to Gary Wright. Traveling call. And that's the 7th UNLV turnover.
Well, that's what we're talking about, forcing something that's not there. It's fine. You know, even that point, Gary Graham, if he pulled up for the three-point shot, it would have been a good shot. But trying to power it inside 1 against 2, no chance.
Lowhouse. Whoops.
That was a bullet he threw over. It's a good thing that Gamble didn't get a hand on it.
Broken finger. 53-35. Mark Wade.
Now, there was a case where Graham was looking for that three-point shot. He should have just pulled up and shot the two-pointer.
Moe goes out to get the rebound, and there was a foul on the long rebound.
UNLV foul.
Gary Graham is the 3rd player for the Runnin' Rebels to pick up his 3rd foul. I am amazed by what we've seen the last 10 minutes.
You know what? Well, right there you see the field goal percentage. And they've had, for the most part, Iowa has just shot very good shots. They've moved the ball well. They've won turnovers. They've gotten the easy baskets. But I am surprised to see the score what it is. You know, I'm not surprised that there's 53 points on the board by Iowa. I'm just surprised that we haven't seen UNLV more effective offensively.
Jeff Lowe gets the bounce in the first free throw. 20 of 26 for the field, from the field for Iowa. Horton with a rebound, goes up for 2 more, good block. Richard Robinson is gone. Nice pass by Banks. And Patio gets the layup. Richard Robinson has come in now for UNLV. So the Run Rebels have Wade, Robinson, Banks, Gilliam, and Patio. .17-point margin, 54-37 with 1:38 to go at halftime.
Good patience by Iowa at the offensive end. Now here's that long outlet pass by Wade over to Banks. Outstanding offensive play there, making that bounce pass. That is so tough to bounce a pass that far across the court and have a player be able to get control of it.
B.J. Armstrong back into the lineup now for Iowa. And Armin Gilliam goes to the line. Senior out of Pittsburgh, transfer from Independence Junior College.
Now what UNLV would like to have happen now is a couple more good things happen to them. They have 1:36 left in this half. Now, if they can make a steal, or they can stop Iowa at the other end of the court, maybe get a basket, get it down to 13 or 14 points, that will be something positive going into the locker room.
1:27 to go. There's the lob again for Marble and Lohaus. Guilty of the foul underneath.
But this time, we see the excellent help defensively by Robinson. His man comes up and sets the screen, Lohaus, but he reads it. He knows his teammates picked off, and he's back in there deflecting that pass.
Lohaus picks up his first foul, and Patio will go to the line. Gerald Patio in his first year at UNLV from Rayne, Louisiana. Played his junior college ball at Seminole JC.
Let's see if they pick him up full court, put some pressure on them. Can't pick up the silly foul if you're UNLV.
54-40. 18-point lead has been cut by 4.
Half-court trap. Looking to keep the ball out of the middle area. They had success earlier when they ran this one time and created a turnover.
Lowe gets out of the trap.
Boy, they look poised out here, don't they, Iowa?
Sure do.
Good patience, this trap, they're not afraid of it. They know what they have to do.
Lowe in the corner for Lohaus. 18 on the shot clock, 52nd on the game clock. Underneath to right. What a bounce.
The thing that impressed me was the patience.
Yep.
You know, they spread the court, they moved the basketball, they knew what they wanted to do when the clock got down to 15 seconds, look for a good shot, and that's what they got. Largest lead of the half has been 18. It's at 16 right now.
UNLV hasn't led since it was 7-6. Lohaus picks up his second quickly.
Well, just what we mentioned a few minutes ago, at some point you got to look into the big guy. You know, give him the ball before he has to get it off the offensive glass. And that's what they did at that time.
Make a correction, that last foul was on Gary Wright, and that is his third. The leading scorers so far, Lohaus and Armstrong with 10. Armin Gilliam has 13 for UNLV. Lawrence West has come into the lineup now for UNLV. Wears number 3, junior out of San Diego.
Gilliam, the shooter.
Well, I'm sure Iowa will look to take that last shot. They'll probably look to shoot a firm with about 5 seconds left on the clock, just to make sure that UNLV does not get a possession and have a chance to score at the other end.
Eldridge Hudson back into the lineup for UNLV for the final 33 seconds of the half.
And the reason for this is Coach Darkanian does not want those players to pick up a cheap foul here in the last 33 seconds of this half.
Gamble back to Armstrong. Guess what?
Picked up the cheap foul. That's a tough position. Coming off the bench, sitting over there for 19 and a half minutes, and coming in trying to do something positive. But what happened is West came running at Armstrong, wasn't under control. Armstrong read it and was able to pick up the cheap foul.
Having picked up the foul, West goes to the bench. David Willard back in, number 40. And Armstrong is at the line. Three of 4 thus far today.
You know, I can't emphasize enough the way these two teams play. Either one has the ability to run off 20 points. And for me, you know, after this UNLV team coming out of the locker room, I would expect that they're going to come out and going to be clawing like nothing else you've seen before. They have 6 seniors on this ball club. This is their last chance. So they know that they have to take a deep breath in that locker room and come out with that intensity.
Well, given the method of their play, 16 is not too much to overcome. Gilliam doesn't get it. Another rebound for Iowa. Iowa has already shot 23 free throws. And as the buzzer sounds, Marble tries for 3. Well, it's a heck of a spurt for Iowa. That's the end of the first half with a score of 58-42. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Quaker State Motor Oil. When car-carrying people reach for the best, they reach for Quaker State Motor Oil. Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by the Champion Spark Plug Company.
Okay, thanks. My insurance rep says go with the GM parts.
Great. You'd be surprised how many imitation parts are around.
Really?
I always assumed GM fenders were replaced with GM fenders.
Turns out there are all kinds of imitation parts, and some don't even come close to GM specs for fit, finish, and corrosion protection. So remember, even if an insurance company is paying, it's still your car, and it's still your choice. Insist on genuine General Motors parts.
So, what do you want to do today?
Here comes excitement. Pontiac. Here come the hot cars. With a feel for the road. Pontiac.
So, what do you want to do tonight?
With excitement. Pontiac.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Built from little more than desert sun and desert air. Where city leaders use computers to connect every department of city government. Computers from Unisys. Unisys helps Scottsdale's leaders meet growing demands so efficiently that over the last 6 years, property taxes have actually gone down. Unisys and government, the power of 2.
This week, be sure and watch The Popcorn Kid on Monday night just before Newhart. You gonna watch?
I'll watch anything named after a wholesome snack. I used to love the Partridge Family.
This is CBS.
Can you believe this? Right now, you can drive away in this full-size pickup from GMC Truck with 3.9% GMAC financing or $500 cash back and get automatic transmission at no extra charge. Plus, on specially equipped full-size pickups, you get air conditioning at no extra charge, too. 3.9 or cash back, plus automatic transmission and air. Save up to a total of over $2,000. GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore. See your GMC Truck dealer today.
We'll have all the highlights plus all the scores. I'm Fred McLeod. Keep up with all the NCAA tournament action on Eyewitness News on Channel 2.
It's the final spot up for grabs for New Orleans. And at halftime, Iowa leads UNLV 58-42. You know, yesterday, the day belonged to the Big East. Today, at least to this point, it's belonged to the Big Ten. James, everyone knows the UNLV, it plays a fast-paced ball game, but their interior defense, someone should put up a wake-up call in for those guys.
People talk about the UNLV defense. It's strong on the perimeter, but not on the inside, and Iowa's just ramming it down their throats. This nice pass from Gary Wright to Roy Marble, indicative of the unselfishness on the part of Iowa. Good eye communication between those two players made it happen.
All right, people are wondering, can UNLV come from behind? 6 times during the season, the Running Rebels have trailed. They've won all 6 ball games, including 20 down to Western Kentucky in the NIT final, winning that game and trailing New Mexico State by 19 on the road and coming back and winning that game as well. Now, the winner of this contest goes on to play Indiana, champions today in the Midwest final, 77-76. Hoosiers coming back from 12 down with 13 minutes to go to beat the 10th-seeded Tigers, who put up quite a fight today. Here's some of the action. LSU making the steal. And up goes to Anthony Wilson for the jam. Bobby Knight was hit with a tee in the first half of this ball game. Almost got hit with a second one.
I got a little bit excited because I didn't know whether it was a 3-second violation or a foul. The guy made no indication. I thought it was extremely poor officiating.
Hoosiers on the comeback, Joe Hillman. This was a key bucket, the hoop and a foul. Cut at the 4, and now we'll pick it up trailing 1.
Thomas got Vargas in the air and was short, but Callaway comes in the offensive rebound. Timeout, LSU. It ain't over till it's over.
And as Brent and Billy call it, this was LSU's chance to win the game.
Inside, Nikita Wilson at the buzzer. Indiana wins it. The Hoosiers go to the Final Four.
This is what you play for, and these 2 hours have been the most fun I've ever been into, and we're very optimistic, and it's great. It's a great feeling.
It's a great feeling, all right, and it's a feeling that Bobby Knight will be experiencing for the 4th time in his career, James.
But he may not want to see Iowa down the road. Iowa's the only team that's ever scored 100 points on a Bob Knight coached team, and Iowa did it this year, 101, so look out.
All right, those 2 teams met twice during the regular season. They split the 2 ball games. Here's the schedule for next Saturday. We can set it for you right now. 3rd round coverage of the TPC will get underway at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then at 3:30 from New Orleans, the Final Four will be here. Game 1 will be Providence against Syracuse, that Big East rematch, if you will. And that'll be followed by Indiana against the winner of the game you're watching, Iowa and UNLV. And then on Monday night, our championship game gets underway at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll continue on the road to the Final Four in just a moment.
Mazda wanted me to tell you about their brand new 4x4, but I'd rather show you.
I hammered this truck for days to see for myself just how good it really is. Bottom line, best 4x4 I've ever driven, period. Another real surprise was that Mazda's loaded up SE5 4x4 is priced close to the other guy's stripped down 4x4s. Now, if you ask me, that's worth jumping about.
It's not too early to plan to attend one of the nation's most exciting sporting events. Next year, see college basketball at its best. To receive your 1988 NCAA Final Four ticket application, call 913-262-1988 during business hours, or write the NCAA at 1988 Final Four Tickets, P.O. Box 1906, Mission, Kansas 66201. Remember, call 913-262-1988 during business hours for a ticket application.
Most major college referees are working about 50 games during the season, give or take a few. The 3 or 4 hours before the game is when you get ready for a big game. We're not any different than the player or the coach. We have to get ourselves up. We have to start the concentration. We have to get ready for the big ball game.
We talk about pregame preparation. We talk about things that could happen during the course of the game to make sure that the game runs smoothly.
Once the game gets started, you know, you kind of tunnel vision your mind and the referee in the ball game, and I don't really think of anything outside of the peripheral of officiating the game.
It's a tremendous mental preparation. I think in theater, when you put your costume on and you walk onto the stage and you present yourself. So true, I think, in officiating.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
In recent NCAA tournaments, there's been a tendency to regard UNLV as what they call in Vegas as a lounge act. But this year, Jerry Tarkanian has become a headliner at the tournament. Still apart from his basketball team, we know little about that school, so we dispatched our Gary Paul Gates to the desert for a look at the quiet campus in the shadow of the neon strip.
People seem to have trouble imagining a real university in the shadow of the Strip.
The famous Vegas Strip, a landmark that speaks for itself.
This is the perception that UNLV has to live with, and the people here insist it is not their true identity. They point out that on this campus there are no garish, neon-lighted signs directing students to class, nor is there any truth to the snide notion that at the end of freshman year, a student can play double or nothing with his credits, and if he wins, leap ahead to become a junior. That is the kind of image that UNLV is striving to overcome.
In classical music, in theater and ballet, UNLV is taking the cultural high road, and they want the rest of us to know that.
A lot of our part-time instructors, for example, are trained classical musicians who play for a living on the Strip.
I must confess, I have a problem with Las Vegas as a center of the arts. It was once said about something that it has as much appeal as an Ibsen festival in Las Vegas. Now, isn't that the perception?
I'll tell you a convention we're having this summer that sounds about as esoteric as an Ibsen's festival. We have the International Double Reed Society.
And in an effort to enhance its academic reputation, the school has $1 million endowment for scholarships to valedictorians from high schools throughout Nevada. That's what brought Susan Romero to UNLV.
I felt that it's about time was my kind of attitude towards it, that they finally started rewarding students for academics rather than just sports.
Of course, it was sports, namely basketball, that put UNLV on the national map. And although some of Jerry Tarkanian's recruiting methods have raised questions about his program's integrity, there is no doubt that the success of the Runnin' Rebels has been a big attraction, as we found out when we asked other students why they chose to come here.
Well, it's the #1 hotel school in the country, just like the #1 basketball team in the country.
Well, I like this school. It's getting a good reputation. The hotel management school here.
Ah, yes, the hotel management school. That may be the biggest draw of all. UNLV's hotel and restaurant school ranks among the best in the country, and here the Las Vegas Strip offers the students a real-life laboratory.
What we sell is a school close to a community in which the chance for work and involvement is very great.
But in most Las Vegas hotels, the specialty of the house is not necessarily good food and entertainment. And to deal with all that, a very special course is required.
I would venture to say that we probably are the only university in the world that has a funded chair in gaming management.
That we had to see, and we later visited a class in casino management. So welcome to the world of high mathematics, Las Vegas style.
What one sees when you go into the lab are the tables. But in fact, we're doing management theory. We're offering a course in statistics. What type of payoffs does one encounter?
And so UNLV, and the community it serves, offers a variety of challenges to the curious young intellect. It all depends on one's personal taste and preference. Speaking only for myself, I plan to return next summer, in time to catch the action at that International Double Reed Convention. For CBS Sports, I'm Gary Paul Gates.
Gary talked about high mathematics. What is UNLV going to do to come back from 16 down?
I don't expect them to change much, Jimmy. The only option they've shown on the offensive end is to shoot the ball and shoot it quickly. I think they're going to have to really try and free Armin Gilliam up a little bit more, but given their tendency to launch the ball, they can get back into the game quickly. They've only lost one time this year. Don't expect them to change much.
And they've got to shut down Iowa in the interior game there. Second half's coming up next. We still have one spot up for grabs for New Orleans. We'll find out who it is after these messages and a word from your local station.
Even today, there are still places in Europe so isolated, hardly anyone ever goes there. But UPS does. With scheduled delivery to every address in every European country it serves, at prices other air delivery companies might find a little scary. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
When Mazda asked me if I'd like to take some hot laps in one of their RX-7 race cars, they didn't have to ask twice. Whew, I'm telling you, nothing pours out power as smoothly as a rotary engine. It makes for a great race car and a great sports car. This RX-7 also has one of the most advanced suspension systems in the world. It loves to be driven hard. Check it out. But don't blame me if you start hating what you're driving now.
Want to take it out again, Mr. Garner?
Like I said, you don't have to ask me twice.
Dust off your policies, dig up your feel. Leave it to the good hands, people. Do it right now, or you know you never will.
Come into Allstate and compare our low homeowners rates. You might just save some money.
Check through your files, look high and low. Get down to Allstate, you might save some dough. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
This is CBS.
Your Greater Detroit Olds dealers have just received great news.
Extra, extra. Calais and Delta 88 now get 3.9 annual percentage rate. GMAC financing for up to $1,200 cash back. Customers save hundreds. Read all about it.
Now, the cars you've been waiting for, Sporty Calais and Delta 88, now qualify for 3.9 financing or up to $1,200 cash back, depending on the options you buy from Oldsmobile.
Told you, just read about it. See your Greater Detroit Olds dealers tomorrow.
In Hamtramck, Central Olds, Mount Clemens, Bill Lee Olds, Detroit, Olson Olds, and Lake Point Olds, Grosse Pointe Park.
My business is your business. I'm Murray Feldman. Join me for the Channel 2 Business Report, Monday night at 6 and 11 on Eyewitness News.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. And by UPS. They run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
The Iowa Hawkeyes lead UNLV, have shocked UNLV, it might be said, 58-42 as we get set for the second half here at the Kingdome in Seattle. There is Jerry Tarkanian now in his 14th year as head coach at UNLV. That towel has become almost as famous as Jerry. John Thompson has a towel. Bill Frieder has a towel. But there's no towel treated with quite the reverence of Jerry Tarkanian's towel. This is Paul Biafori an hour before game time as he folds the towel very carefully into 16ths. Then, of course, slightly tepid tap water. The temperature must be just right. The Tark wants the towel in the proper fashion. Get the excess moisture out of it. And finally, the taste test. And Biafori says it's ready for Tarkanian and hands it to him.
Both teams return their original starting lineups to the floor.
And now Tarkanian is ready to coach. Paul Biafori, the junior manager from Bridgeport, could be a taste tester for Henry VIII.
Well, I'm sure that UNLV had heard a few words from Jerry Tarkanian at halftime.
I think he waved the towel, perhaps.
Waved the towel. He might have snapped that towel a little bit at that locker room because his team just did not play the way they normally do. But again, this team, being down 16, has the ability to come back because they pressure defensively. They look for the three-point shot. I think one thing they have to do is get the ball inside a little bit more to their man, Armin Gilliam.
In the first half, Iowa 73%. UNLV only 38%. They were 4 of 17 from three-point range. Free throws, the Hawkeyes went to the line 23 times. The UNLV's 8. They scored 15, and they lead by 16. Leading scorers, Gilliam with 15 and Armstrong with 12 for the Hawkeyes. And the rebounding edge not as pronounced as we might have thought, 21-18. Iowa has the lead. And Iowa will inbound now. 7-foot Brad Lohaus. UNLV is 6-0 when trailing at the half. They've only lost one game, of course, and that was to Oklahoma. They were tied in that game 48-all. They were down earlier to New Mexico State by 19 at halftime and came back to win. We're underway, 1958, before we determine which of these two teams joins Indiana, Providence, and Syracuse in New Orleans. Gary Wright, air ball. Marble saves it off the underside of the basket.
Right off the bat, we see UNLV do something they haven't done in the last 7 minutes of this basketball game, come out denying that first pass.
Wade takes the shot. Lohaus with the rebound. Quickly up to B.J. Armstrong. Loose ball controlled by Armstrong, and alertly he gets it back to Lohaus. Set the lineups now. Armstrong joined by Lohaus, Gary Wright, Kevin Gamble, and Roy Marble for Iowa. And for UNLV, Baz Knight and Banks join Armin Gilliam, Mark Wade, and Gerald Patio. So the starting quintets for both teams are on the court now.
Right now, defensively, UNLV is switching on everything. When the screens are set on the baseline, they're looking to step out and switch. 5 seconds left on the 45-second clock.
First time we've had to mention it today. The shot too strong, rebound, running Rebels.
One thing Iowa's got to keep playing their game, and that's shooting the ball a little quicker.
Armin Gilliam gets the first basket of the second half.
One thing they have to guard against Iowa is being tentative.
Turnover. Substitution quickly. Dr. Tom Davis goes to his bench and brings Ed Horton in to settle down Gary Wright. It was Wright who took the quick shot. Mark Wade comes across the timeline. 14-point lead.
You can see that UNLV team standing on the sidelines.
Patio continues his cold streak. Tries for three. Gamble back to B.J. Armstrong. Gets it.
Number 10, B.J. Armstrong.
Here's Wade all the way. Offensive foul on Mark Wade. That's his third.
Now we see the defense back. B.J. Armstrong back there has that position. Mark Wade was determined to take it to the hole.
Man-for-man pressure applied by UNLV. They've done, oh boy. Lowhouse took the charge. Mark Wade hurt his shoulder.
UNLV foul, charge to
And the foul is on Mark Wade. That's his fourth. As Lowhouse stood and took the pick.
Now watch this. Now this is Bass Knight's fault, not letting his teammate Wade know that screen was there. He has to be up close to his man so he can communicate. And that's the fourth foul now on Mark Wade, and that really hurts this UNLV team.
Wade, the all-time assist leader in NCAA basketball, had 5 in the first half, goes to the bench with 4 fouls. Plays taken by Gary Graham, who's playing with 3. Good bounce pass in the paint again. And the shot is up and good. Gamble gets the basket. Well, Jerry Tarkanian said Mark Wade is the heart and soul of our ball club. Here's Banks, hits the three-pointers.
He's got to get on a roll. Now Gary Graham's got to pick up that slack with Mark Wade out of the ball game. There's a foul on Graham, and it wasn't called.
Roy Marble. Screen from Horton goes on the baseline, out of bounds, to be inbounded by Iowa.
Now, one big concern of Tom Davis is coming into this game. He was concerned with, he felt that UNLV's defense, they would hand check, that they would get a hand on the hip of his players and really hurt them deep offensively and not allow them a lot of freedom.
UNLV in serious foul trouble. Wade with 4, Baz Knight, Graham, and Hudson with 3. Michael Reeves is in, Armstrong is out. That shot short, foul called.
Now, what I want you to watch is watch Banks on the baseline coming over and giving that good defensive help, stepping in there and reaching in and knocking it loose.
First on the team this half.
Team foul, number 1 on Iowa. Here's Graham, puts up the short jumper, and it's short. Rebound into the arms of Ed Horton.
So after Graham hit those 2 3-pointers in the first half, he's become tentative. He's short on that jump shot. He was trying to aim it instead of shoot the basketball. Now we see this Iowa team using more of the clock, showing more patience offensively, running their set offense.
Cute little bounce pass inside. Back it comes to Lowhouse.
That's no accident. That's something Tom Davis teaches. That bounce pass, which is so difficult to defend against.
7 on the shot clock. Gamble takes it, top of the key, and hits it.
Boy, is he having himself a tournament.
Be fun to watch and see now if Iowa uses that shot as much each time down. That's the 3-point shot. Horton, good rebound. And quickly, here come the Hawkeyes. They've got a 3-on-2. Armstrong, Gamble, running hook, offensive foul.
Substitution for Iowa.
Well, that's one of the problems when you shoot that long, quick 3-pointer. What happens is there's usually a long rebound. Your offensive men are not in good position to get to the offensive boards or get back defensively. And we saw that time there was a 3-on-2, nearly a 4-on-2 fast break.
Jeff Moe comes into the lineup for the Hawkeyes, number 20. Michael Reeves is also in there. Gamble, Horton, Al Lorenzen has come into the lineup now. So the second unit for the most part, with the exception of Kevin Gamble in for Iowa. Pass underneath, jumper taken, good. Armin Gilliam gets 2 more. Yep. 19.
And the thing is, now we don't see Iowa coming back and double teaming on Armin Gilliam, so you have to look inside to the big guy.
Safely across the timeline, a 15-point Iowa lead, 64-49. Horton, they'll come back and reload.
Excellent patience offensively.
They look, give Lorenzen a look-see down to the baseline. Traveling. That's 13 turnovers for Iowa in the game. rebounds, a 4-point edge for Iowa. They are among the nation's leaders in rebounding margin, almost 13 per game. Good pressure defensively by the Hawkeyes. 64-49, 15-25 to go in the game. The winner here in Seattle meets Indiana in New Orleans next Saturday afternoon.
Now Iowa's back into their 1-2-2 zone. What they'll do on the wings, they'll extend it a little bit in the direction of Banks. Concerned with that three-point shot.
Patio for three. Finally got one.
He probably said, thank the Lord, I never thought I'd score one of those.
Gerald Patio cuts the margin to 12. Underneath the Gamble, offensive foul.
Two big plays by Gerald Patio.
Dead ball timeout. 4 fouls on Kevin Gamble. He's picked up 2 in this half.
Exceptionally smooth. The night belongs to Michelob.
How to start an impressive family art collection. First, find some talented local artists. Then inspire them with Crayola Happy Meal boxes from McDonald's. Every Crayola Happy Meal comes with your children's favorite McDonald's foods, plus an art kit with a McDonald's Land stencil and 4 Crayola crayons or a Crayola marker. There are 4 sets in all, a different one each week. With Crayola Happy Meal boxes from McDonald's, it's easy to build a family art collection. After all, you already have the family art gallery.
Excuse me, Daddy.
Mazda wanted me to tell you about their brand new 4x4, but I'd rather show you. I hammered this truck for days to see for myself just how good it really is. Bottom line, best 4x4 I've ever driven, period. Another real surprise was that Mazda's loaded up SE5 4x4 is priced close to the other guy's stripped down 4x4s. Now, if you ask me, that's worth jumping about.
It has been a long and thrilling road. Saturday, CBS Sports presents the Final Four.
And here's the lineup next Saturday on CBS. An all Big East semifinal, Providence against Syracuse in Game 1. And the winner of this game takes on Indiana in Game 2. Watch 2 big plays by Gerald Patio. First, a jump shot for 3 points. Bill Cunningham.
Well, he needed a hand in his face at the offensive end of the court, and he makes the big defensive play, drawing the 4th foul on Kevin Gamble inside. And that's a big play because he's the leader of this ball club.
It was a 16-point Iowa halftime lead. It's now at 12 with 14:54 to go. Gary Graham.
Now, one thing this does, with Gary Graham in there, they have 3 players that can shoot that shot right there. The 3-pointer in Patio, Banks, and Graham.
Here's Banks' turn.
Yes.
Got it. It's single digits. They've got it down to 9.
So that 4th foul on Wade might work out to be a benefit for this UNLV team.
Because he's not a shooter.
That's right, and now they have the shooter. Look at the defense. The crowd is in the game now, too.
Jeff Moe, number 20. Back to Armstrong, says calm down. Nice presence on the court by B.J. Armstrong.
Yeah, I just wonder if they're just using a little too much patience. You'd love to see a team patient, but the rhythm that they were in the first half was just outstanding.
There's Marble, 3 underneath. He took 1 too many. They're really rattled.
That's why you might see a timeout very quickly by Tom Davis and not allow this to get any closer. Now they're battling for that loose ball, and there's the foul. Now Iowa has 14 fouls now, and UNLV 2.
That foul on Al Lorenzen, number 44, the junior. And UNLV will inbound. 3-point field goal, 7 of 21.
We'll see them try to inbound the pass to Gilliam, but they're trying to deny it to him. There's the trap.
Here comes the steal by Armstrong, but Gilliam forces it away.
The hammer.
Banks for three. No. Adio. Oops.
He got fouled on that shot by Jeff Moe. That could have been a 4-point play. Now this is where leadership is a factor. And right now, the two leaders of this Iowa ball club are on the bench. That's Brad Lohaus, right there in your screen, and Kevin Gamble sitting right next to him. So I would think that the one guy that's got to do this for this ball club is B.J. Armstrong. Well, here comes Lohaus back in the ball game.
In for the Hawkeyes, 54, Brad Lohaus.
Al Lorenzen will head to the bench. And Freddie Banks, first Las Vegas native to ever start for UNLV. Went to high school in Vegas. Gets the free throw. That cuts it to 8. UNLV outscoring Iowa by 8 in this half. Make it 9.
You know, one thing I want to say, if you're the #1 team in the country, you've worked very hard to get there. And you're not going to just roll over and die when you're down or things aren't going your way. You have to have a lot of character and a lot of heart. And a heck of a coach in Jerry Tarkanian.
Foul trouble. Again hits UNLV. That's Gary Graham. And that's his fourth.
Graham's fourth.
Mark Wade, who's playing with 4, comes back in for Graham, who leaves with 4.
Now, what couple things. They have 2 guards. Now we see Wade and Graham with those 4 fouls. They cannot back off and not. They have to play smart basketball, not pick up the cheap foul, but they have to be aggressive out there, especially at the defensive end.
Roy Marble, the sophomore. Lohaus, the senior.
What Iowa's running now is a flex offense. They're screening across the lane and screening down.
Marble again too strong. Lohaus puts it up off the glass and gets it.
There's the senior coming through with a big hoop.
Now he immediately turns and guards the inbound play, but Gilliam takes it for UNLV. 66-57 with 13 minutes to go in the ball game. As CBS's coverage of the road to New Orleans concludes this afternoon, after this it's all in New Orleans.
Now we see them backing off Mark Wade. They'll extend that defense, that 1-2-2 defense when the ball's in Patio's hands or Banks. That's where it's got to go.
Gilliam's got 21. 66-59, 12:30 to go in the game. Armstrong harassed in the backcourt, gets it to Lohaus.
Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea when they do force B.J. Armstrong to give it up in the backcourt that way. Don't let him get it back because he starts the offense for this Iowa team.
Marble's got it now. Now Armstrong looks underneath for Gary Wright. Settles for Moe on the baseline. 15 on the shot clock. Roy Marble, jumper is short. Air ball. Eldridge Hudson with the rebound. Mark Wade. They back away from him. Patio takes it and hits it.
Oh, here we go.
The lead is 4.
Now that's a rush shot. They've been trying to have patience, and then the quick shot by Armstrong.
Wade in the corner.
Hello. Oh, I thought that one was in.
They'll reload.
That's a killer. When you have things really on a roll and then commit a careless turnover like that.
Wonder where she bought that hair. 66-62, 11-20. I don't think she's from Iowa. Foul trouble. Graham and Wade with 4. Gamble has 4. Wright and Moe 3 for Iowa. Basnight and Hudson with 3 for the Hawkeyes. Lob pass, Lohaus. Good defensive play by the Rebels. Got it. 3 points. Timeout, Iowa.
not laying, I think.
You got to start hitting from out there, Harris.
Oh, I need a drink of cool, cool rain.
The way to stay cool is clear.
7 Up feels so good coming down. Rain on me. 7 Up, yeah.
I wasn't even in the market for a new car when I drove this Pontiac. Then I found that, depending on the Pontiac I got, I could get up to $1,200 back to pocket or use as a down payment. Or I could get 3.9% GMAC financing. Now I ask you, could you pass up Pontiac excitement with a choice of savings like that? Neither could I.
We build excitement.
We call her the baby from another planet. When she looks at me, she goes, Maga?
Since AT&T lowered long-distance prices 30%, it costs even less to call someone you love.
Well, she'll talk if Tom sings to her.
Oh, my baby.
On weekends, you can call all across the country and visit 20 minutes for just $3.52 or less.
Talk to Grandma. Did you hear that? No, she said goobla. Goobla.
Now, Iowa's game plan is they're looking to back off Mark Wade, okay, and not let him shoot it. But one thing is he has clear vision of the court, and right there he was able to find the hammer inside Armin Gilliam. Now here's the inside defense, denying that pass, that lob, and picking up the loose ball.
The Runnin' Rebels are on a huge run, 23-8. And they've outscored Iowa 18-2 in the last 5.5 minutes. 66-65. The last UNLV lead was at 7-6. It was almost an all-Iowa first half. The largest lead of the game was 18. And the lead at halftime was 16.
We see the picks up at half court trying to relieve that pressure for B.J. Armstrong to get him into their offense. We'll see if they pick up the tempo.
Roy Marble goes up short with a shot. He's really having a tough second half.
Yeah, he sure is. He's been tentative. When you get the ball in that position, just take it to the basket strong. You don't need to make all those head fakes. And we see a big difference in that first half where Iowa was able to get to the foul line, 23 times?
Right.
They haven't been there very often here in the second half.
Mark Wade, the senior from California, from the corner for three. That is the first UNLV lead since they led 7-6.
21-2 run.
Substitution for Iowa. Kevin Gamble with 4 fouls replaces Bill Jones. That knocked out of bounds by UNLV. The Iowa bench in shock, and the UNLV bench all standing, every one of them.
There isn't one seat being occupied on the UNLV bench.
A 21-2 Iowa run, or rather UNLV run, since the 16-minute mark. Underneath, Marble tried the one pump too many.
And there's the hammer just blocking that shot. He did not go for the fake. He waited for Marble to commit himself offensively.
From the corner for three. Rebound, Gary Wright of the Hawkeyes. 68-66, UNLV lead.
If you don't think this game is a head game, more than physical, the example is Patio looking for that three-pointer now instead of trying to avoid the three-pointer. Now watch this defense looking to deny the inbounds pass. That's just great hustle right there defensively.
Lowhouse gets it out to Mo. Gamble in the corner. Guarded by Gerald Patio.
Someone's got to step forward for this Iowa team to get him back.
Mo short with a shot. Baseball pass. Patio. Offensive foul. Basket will not count.
Good call by the official.
No basket. Foul offensive on
Second foul on Gerald Patio. That's a look of bemusement on Jerry Tarkanian's face. 68-66 under the 9-minute mark.
It's just amazing how this game is swung. We're looking at two different teams. We saw a great Iowa team in the first half, and now we're seeing a great UNLV team. And you can see why they were both #1 in the country during the course of this season.
Lohaus loses it. 16 Iowa turnovers.
Someone on Iowa, I have to repeat it again, has got to instill some confidence. And it's not Tom Davis. It's one of the players on the court have to do that.
Change for the Rebels. Re-entering is 44, Basnight.
Oftentimes, as Basnight comes into the lineup now, and Armin Gilliam gets a rest. That last foul on Brad Lohaus is second.
The team's 6th.
Armin Gilliam on the bench now with 21 points, and he gets a rest at the 8:40 mark.
He won't be there very long.
No, sir. UNLV trailed by 16 at the half. They lead by 2 now with 8.5 to go.
Now Kevin Gamble's back to 4 fouls. Banks. It's amazing the confidence of this team.
Armstrong quiets the UNLV crowd for the moment.
That was a big hoop for them, but the thing that's so impressive about UNLV is their confidence. You know, you would think that you'd come out in the second half and start thinking a little bit about that three-point shot. Be a little tentative. But these guys are just firing away. They've been playing all year this way, and they're going to keep doing it.
Rebound doesn't go. Look at the aggressiveness by the Rebels.
Well, they're just the quicker team. They're just reacting to the ball. Iowa is standing. They can't get themselves up on their toes defensively.
Underneath, pass from Wade. Basnight controls off the glass and in.
Basnight with the basket.
73-68. Largest Rebel lead of the game and only their second lead of the game. Iowa wants a timeout. They have 2 remaining. The Rebels have roared into a 5-point lead.
I drove that car last weekend.
The big Mercedes?
The S-Class.
What'd you think?
I think you have to sit in that big leather seat, put Mozart, maybe Beethoven on the stereo, then go out and drive in tight rush hour traffic up some back mountain road all night in a rainstorm, and then you'll know what I think.
Which is?
I think just maybe I drove the perfect car, or as close to it as anybody's ever come.
My secret pizza recipe has 7 critical steps. You get just 1 wrong, forget the pizza. Here we go. 3 down, 4 to go. Yo, Gino. Yeah, hold on for a second. Well, one thing you can't forget. Natural Light, the beer with a taste for food. Gino? Yeah, the usual. No, better cut it up into 6 pieces. Yeah, I should need 8.
Yeah, all natural, less filling. It's Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch.
That's it. Try Natural Light. On me.
What'd you do to your car, Joey? It's really hot.
It's these new Sportline Performance tires from Michelin. They've got a super grip and really handle the curves.
I never knew a fat tire could make such a difference.
It can if it's a Michelin.
Joey, I think someone's got his eye on us.
I think he's got his eye on you.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
It was a tough ticket here in Seattle for this Western Regional Final. These 4 kids came up from Las Vegas. I don't think they paid scalpers tickets for their seats.
I think they would have been closer if they just watched it from Vegas. Look at that.
Jerry Tarkanian at halftime. His team trailed by 16. You know him well. Now, was he aggressive in his halftime approach?
Oh, I'm sure he was. You know, Jerry Tarkanian, you don't become a defensive team like he has without being a very demanding coach. And this guy, I love him as a person. He is truly, if you ever needed a friend and you had problems, he'd be the guy. But whatever he said to that team at halftime, I hope he taped it because he could sell cassettes to a lot of other coaches.
Current streak is 26-4 UNLV, and a foul on Horton.
It's one-on-one. We're going to the other end.
We're live from the Kingdome in Seattle, where we have seen two separate basketball games, it seems. The Iowa Hawkeyes roared out to a 16-point lead under the leadership of Dr. Tom Davis at the half, 58-42. But they're hitting less than 30% in the second half. And the UNLV Rebels, ranked #1 in the country and the top seed in the Western region, have outscored Iowa 31-10 to this point in the half. Winner of this game goes up against Indiana in the second game from New Orleans next Saturday.
Those running Rebel fans better not start celebrating now, because this Iowa team, you know, they've been in close games all through this tournament. And these guys aren't going to roll over. They had a 19-0 run in their last ball game against Oklahoma. So don't be surprised to see these guys get it going at the defensive end.
This Iowa team was down by 22 in Champaign, Illinois against the Illini and came back to win. Rebound taken down by UNLV, 74-68 at the 7-minute mark.
This Armin Gilliam is truly an impressive basketball player. I mean, he just helps this team. I just love how patient he is. You know, he shot over 60% from the field, and he's an inside player. You could expect him to possibly be frustrated not getting the ball as much as he did there with all the three-point shots that they take.
He's got 23 in the game today. That equals his season average at 38 in the semifinal win the other night. Ed Horton, number 25, Roy Marble. Boy, the shots are not falling for Marble in this half.
Now watch Gilliam seal off and have that great position where the defensive man's topside. He just turns and goes up for that jump shot.
Third personal. 5 on the team. 2 shots.
15 foul now on UNLV. Roy Marble at the line.
Now this could be a turning point for Iowa. If he makes the foul shots and they're able to apply that good defensive pressure with their trap and create a turnover, it could turn things that quickly in this ball game.
That cuts the lead to 6 in the backcourt. UNLV quickly across the timeline. Freddie Banks. Lorenzen rebound. Here come the Hawkeyes on the run. Kevin Gamble. Rebound taken down by Patio.
That's still a good shot Kevin Gamble had. He's got to look for that shot. Now the thing is, now UNLV cannot become passive at the offensive end of the court. They have to keep playing their game. Look inside to the big guy. If they have the good three-pointer, go up and shoot it. We have a lot of time in this game.
Gilliam gets fouled by Lorenzen.
And Gilliam's a pretty good foul shooter, shooting 73% from the foul line.
That alone has been such a drastic difference as in halves, Billy. 23 times to the foul line for Iowa in the first half, only 8 for UNLV.
The reasons that happens. Number one, you're not getting the ball inside and being able to power it to the basket. We've seen Marble with the ball inside several times, but pump faking, making move, trying to avoid the contact almost instead of drawing the fouls. Now we see the UNLV team, they're looking inside to the big guy.
Armin Gilliam going after his 25th point of the game. And it's an 8-point Rebel lead. 5:40 to go in the game. UNLV trying to get back into the Final Four for the first time since 1977, when they lost to North Carolina in the semifinal game by 1 point.
Iowa was down to Oklahoma 5 points with about 1:30 to play and ended up winning that game. Nice play inside.
Roy Marble gets to at the 5:20 mark. And it's a 6-point margin again, favoring the Rebels. UNLV trailed at the half, 58-42. Patio, skip pass, threw it away.
Now what we see is Patio didn't even look at the basket that time. They're trying to milk the clock. You cannot, when you have the good shot, you still got to look for it.
Timeouts, 2 for each team. UNLV 7 fouls, Iowa with 5. And we're 5 minutes away from determining the final piece of the puzzle. Gilliam goes for the steal and through the foul.
For the Hawkeyes, 54, Morehouse.
3 fouls on Armin Gilliam.
Foul is charged to Gilliam of UNLV, his third.
This is not a big UNLV team. The biggest player on the court right now, Bass Knight, is listed at 6'9", and I guarantee you, if he's lucky, if he's 6'7.5".
Lob pass, Gamble, out of position, but got the shot.
Well, what there was, and they recognized it, a mismatch. Wade trying to contest Gamble, and he just took it strong.
Largest lead for UNLV was 8, now at 4. 4:34 to go in the game. For 3, Freddie Banks. Gamble way up for the rebound, and Horton gives him some help. Underneath, Armstrong.
Blocking foul. Now the game is changing again. Now we see, all of a sudden, Iowa is the aggressive team. At some point, you'd like to see both teams become aggressive. Now we see the mismatch, and here's the lob going to Kevin Gamble inside. Nothing Mark Wade could do. Smart play not picking up the foul. That would have been his 5th.
Armin Gilliam was called for the foul, and that's his 4th. Time has been called. We've got 4:20 to go in the ball game.
Is made by the officials that
Hold on. Hey, guy's got himself a new Grand Am, huh? V6, aero skirts, big gauges, bucket seats.
So how have you been?
I've been up to here with all you goof-offs and your high-tech cars trying to schmooze us girls. One more thing.
What's that?
That Pontiac looks good on
Well,
you.
you're looking pretty good yourself.
Move it, Buster. Get out of here.
We build excitement. Pontiac. I got a feeling for my hometown. I know the streets, I know my way around.
If you've ever played sports, you understand the hometown advantage. And that's the whole idea behind Century 21. We know our hometowns because each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated. Put us all together, and you've got the #1 home selling system in America.
I got a feeling for my hometown.
Century 21, the hometown advantage.
Once and for all, who gives you the best savings in long distance nationwide?
U.S. Sprint, may I help you?
That's right, U.S. Sprint. You can save as much as 10, 20, even 30% versus AT&T on your long-distance calls.
Yes, that's right.
And you'll be signing up with the company that's building the first and only 100% digital fiber optic network clear across America. Now, how do you start getting the best overall savings? Well, you've got to call.
U.S. Sprint, may I help you?
Superdome in New Orleans will be the site of this year's NCAA championship, and CBS will be there to cover it for you. The road to New Orleans and the final team to arrive in New Orleans, or to earn the right to play there, being determined here in Seattle in the Kingdome before a crowd of 22,900 this afternoon. Already one semifinal and all Big East encounter as Providence will take on Syracuse in the first game next Saturday afternoon. And Indiana earned the right to take on the winner of this game with a 1-point victory earlier this afternoon over LSU. 4:21 to go in this game, and Roy Marvel at the line.
Now, I'll be interested to see if UNLV, if Marvel makes this foul shot, will look to attack the trap, maybe looking for the three-pointer, or are they going to just hold it back and look to run their offense? Well, Iowa just backs off. It's that theory that Tom Davis has, one pass and back off the trap. If they can't make the steal or create a turnover, they go back into their either man-to-man defense, which they're playing now, or their 1-2-2.
They're packed down around Gilliam. Now Gamble comes out to contest Wade just a little bit. Shot clock has 20 seconds left. 78-75, 3:50 to go in the game.
Now this is a break with Wade on the court. Kevin Gamble with four fouls can just back off, make sure that he doesn't pick up any silly fouls.
There's the lob to Bass Knight underneath and good.
But that's one of the problems when you back off. You allow a passer, a young man that's broken an NCAA record for assists, to make that wide open pass.
Jarvis Basnight goes for the steal and gets called for the foul.
Rebel foul charged to 44.
Now watch Basnight with the lob from Wade. Gets that foul. Scores the 2, and we'll see him picking up a foul right there, trying to deny the ball to Wright.
That's 4 fouls on Basnight. So there are 4 UNLV players with 4. And Gary Wright at the line, where he's hitting 50% of his free throws and gets a huge one. Lead is 4, 80-76, UNLV. Number 1 team in the country, ranked and seeded first in the West. Mark Wade, Armin Gilliam, 2 more.
Boy, he wants that basketball. You know, at this time of the game, a lot of players would like to run away. They don't want that type of pressure. But Armin Gilliam, he wants it.
Gilliam's got 27. Even 3 minutes between one of these teams and a date with Indiana in New Orleans.
Surprising Iowa just holding the ball out here. They've got to get themselves into something offensively. At this point, this is helping this UNLV team.
Armstrong short with a 3-point shot, and Mark Wade with the rebound.
For a couple reasons. We have several UNLV players with 4 fouls. They're not being aggressive, standing on the perimeter. I didn't understand that series.
Mark Wade came across the timeline, dribbling the ball with a huge grin on his face.
Almost like, we got him.
82-76, 2:15 to go in the game. Banks, the senior, taken down by Armstrong. It's 3-on-2. Armstrong all the way up and in. 4-point lead.
Entering for Iowa, 25, Ed Horton. For the Rebels, 32, Gary Graham.
Gary Graham coming back into the lineup for UNLV, and Ed Horton comes into the contest for the Iowa Hawkeyes. 2:05 remaining. 4 players with 4 fouls for UNLV. Gamble has played much of the second half with 4 for Iowa.
Well, one good thing now, UNLV has gone to their 3-guard offense. And it appears they're going to hold the ball, spread the court a little bit, and now they have 3 guards that can handle that basketball. Now, right now, you see the problem that Iowa has putting any pressure. Oh, what a steal.
That was Lowhouse with the steal. Marble has it taken away.
Look at the expression on Wade after he took it. He's just having a ball out there, smiling, laughing.
Mark Wade started his collegiate career at Oklahoma. Didn't get to play much, transferred to El Camino Junior College. And now in his last season at UNLV. And 68 seconds. Now 65.
Now, well, they did take that foul. That's not the man you want to foul, an 80% foul shooter. Fearless Freddie Banks. Now here's the steal. Look at this. Completely extends his body to make that steal.
Foul is charged to Iowa's number 10.
Now watch the position. Marble turns, and before he can do anything, Wade just picks his pocket.
And look at Wade grin. Iowa has called timeout. They've got 1 left, and we have 1:03 remaining.
If you just ask for a light beer,
give me a light.
you never know what you'll get.
Bud Light.
Oh, nice shot.
Heads up.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name it takes, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It
was the ultimate test of endurance, equivalent to more than a lap around the world in 8.5 days. This Mercedes-Benz traveled 31,000 miles, averaging over 154 miles per hour, stopping only seconds at a time for fuel and fresh drivers. Indeed, only seconds were needed, because during the entire trip, not a single mechanical failure occurred. High performance is exciting. High performance and reliability is Mercedes-Benz.
I think I'm ready to give it up.
So soon? You just need a new muffler.
All that money for this whole thing?
Midas-size.
Midas-size.
They've got mufflers for older cars you don't plan on keeping forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
Midas-size your older car and get it right the first time. Then it's backed by the dependable, unbeatable Midas guarantee.
This is the first time you ever made sense about anything.
3 times in the last 4 years, the Western Regional Champion has gone on to win the NCAA title. Jimmy Valvano's Miracle team in '83, John Thompson's Georgetown team in '84. Rolly Massimino's Villanova team won the '85 championship, and last year it was Denny Crum's Louisville team. A 19-point deficit, but New Mexico State is not quite the caliber of Iowa. This time they overcame a 16-point deficit at halftime, and they lead by 4 right now. Make it still 4. Armstrong pushes it up. Lowhouse. Need a quick basket. Moe is not in the game. He's the most prolific three-point shooter. Armstrong can put it up with 3. Gamble won the game the other night with a three-pointer.
We see UNLV in a little zone right now, trying to make sure that they shoot it from the perimeter and don't get it inside.
Gamble finally takes the three-point shot.
Well, that theory worked, at least for Iowa.
82-81.
Now, who do you foul? They got to look for the steal.
10-second violation.
Rebels did not get the ball over the center line in 10 seconds.
Timeout, Iowa. Look at Kevin Gamble. How do you explain that?
Well, poor communication. And you know, sometimes when you're looking to hold the ball, you know that the other you're in a situation, if you can hold the ball and not take a shot and there isn't a foul, that you win the ball game. And I think what happened right there is that Graham was not aware of not even thinking about that 10-second violation, instead of getting it over that midcourt line and then looking to hold the ball.
After we wrap things up here on CBS Sports on a Sunday afternoon, coming up tonight, 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury, and the CBS Sunday movie Deadly Care, starring Cheryl Ladd, in a drama based on fact concerning a critical care nurse whose life spirals downward when she begins to abuse drugs and alcohol. That's coming up tonight on CBS. 22 seconds separate one of these 2 teams from a berth in the Final Four. And the Iowa Hawkeyes have the ball.
The emotional ups and downs for both coaches today. And the thing is, both of these guys have been able to keep their teams in this basketball game. And I think that's such a great compliment for both of them, because we saw in the first half, UNLV just could have folded their tent up and gone home. Now we see Tom Davis had the ability to regroup this ball club and have them in a position where they can win this ball game with 22 seconds left to play.
If you're Tom Davis, who do you want taking that last shot?
Well, I'd have to go to Gamble. I'd try to get him the basketball, but it might be a situation where I might not have a choice. And we know that B.J. Armstrong hit that big three-pointer in the last ball game against Iowa. I wouldn't be afraid of him shooting the basketball, or I'd want to go to one of my seniors.
Lowhouse, Gamble, Armstrong, Marble, and Horton, the 5 on the floor for Iowa.
Now, UNLV is showing a 2-3 zone.
Lob pass. Thrown away. They tried to get it to Lowhouse.
Nevada, Las Vegas calls timeout.
UNLV calls timeout. Both teams have used all of their timeouts. UNLV has the ball and a 1-point lead.
I remember my father's favorite chair. He'd come home, stretch out, and nap through all his favorite TV shows. That chair was home to him. When you take a seat on a Delta jet, I want you to feel like you're coming home. Sounds corny, I know, but I love what I do. And I don't get paid extra to smile. It just feels comfortable to me. Kind of like my father's chair.
Delta gets you there. We get you there with care.
One word distinguishes the American Express card from the others. Member. And membership has its privileges.
We lost our card, our cash.
Even our passport. You've come to the right place. I can help you.
That's great. That was an easy sale.
No need to wrap it.
I think I can fix it, honey.
That's why I got buyer's assurance.
I left my prescription medicine at home.
Don't worry. Global Assist can help.
Nissan's introduced more new cars in a year than anyone in history, plus a whole new attitude.
We got the power to make you move. We make you feel like driving. We make you feel like driving.
They're waiting for you, the wide-open Pulsar NX, the longest wide-body van, and Pathfinder, 4x4 of the year.
We make you feel like driving, and the name is Nissan.
You know, you fans, if you're wondering why Kevin Gamble threw that ball away, look underneath the hoop on the left part of your screen where Brad Lowhouse is wide open for this lob if it was there. That was an excellent play by Tom Davis coming out of that timeout. He had them prepared either for a man-to-man defense or if they went to that 2-3 zone. But we got a lot of time left with 14 seconds left.
Gary Graham has returned for UNLV.
14 seconds remaining. UNLV has the ball in the lead. In the backcourt.
They better foul.
Foul by Marble. 10 seconds to go. Not called an intentional foul. He'll shoot 1 and 1.
Looked like a cross-body block.
Sure did.
Well, they fouled the guy that Jerry Tarkanian would like to be on the foul line, shooting 85% from the foul line. But I'll tell you what, he's never been in this situation.
And he's never been to the line today. Graham, one of a group of 6 seniors.
We'll see if his nerves get to him on this foul shot. And usually you see that, Vern, when a player shoots the ball short and it barely hits the front rim.
1 and 1.
All net. Now, a tendency of a player at this point after making that foul shot is to relax a little bit too much and lose his concentration. He didn't. Now they got to stop the three-point shot.
Watch for Jeff Moe. He's on the left-hand side. Got the ball. Tried to get it. It'll be Iowa's ball.
Well, right now, if I was Jerry Tarkanian, I would take my 5 players and station them outside of the three-point line around the perimeter, forcing a layup. Don't let them shoot the three-point shot.
Gamble. No. Rebels win. The ball with 6 seconds to go, and Gamble had to take a very difficult shot.
And he's the one that made the big one against Oklahoma.
There's the reaction. Jerry Tarkanian has been coaching for 26 years in junior college and college, and this was his 700th career victory. Let's go to Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Vern, and UNLV going back to the Final Four exactly 10 years after being there in 1977. The Chevy MVPs, B.J. Armstrong for Iowa and Armin Gilliam for UNLV. Here are the 4 teams heading to New Orleans: Providence, Syracuse, UNLV, and Indiana. UNLV and Indiana, #1 seeds advancing today. 7th straight year that precisely 2 #1 teams advance on. Let's go to Brent and Billy in Cincinnati for their thoughts.
So the stage is set, and Billy Packer, my question to you is, can the Final Four be as exciting as the regional finals we've had the last 2 days?
I would hope not. I'll tell you, the 2 games today were just absolutely incredible. Great comebacks by 2 teams. I never thought that Vegas could come back. As a matter of fact, with the Indiana assistant coaches left here, they were ready to start looking at that Iowa film all over again. So, tremendous comeback.
Now, game 1 down in New Orleans is going to be a rematch of the Providence-Syracuse confrontation in the Big East.